Now at 5, Joplin expands its streetlight project. We'll tell you what's next. Plus, Miami authorities want information about a vandal who targets American flags. And a court appearance for the man suspected of pointing a gun at Donald Trump.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
City of Joplin is taking steps to make the city a safer place with more streetlights around town. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. 15th Street, Schifferdecker, and Prigmore are some locations they're planning to implement new streetlights. The assistant city manager of Joplin says in the areas they've added streetlights already, they've seen a decrease in crime.
The original areas were identified through crime analysis through our police department, as well as just general public safety and infrastructure review processes that just identify where we need streetlights.
The City of Joplin will accept feedback on other areas that need streetlights online. Authorities reported particularly disturbing vandalism in Miami, Oklahoma, one targeting American flags. Local veterans honored the men and women who've service on 9/11 by placing flags throughout the town. When they went to retrieve those flags after the event, they say they found 15 flags had been vandalized. They filed a police report. The mayor is currently asking anyone with information to call the Miami Police Department.
Yes. To know that fellow Americans would destroy our nation's flag is just, I can't understand. I can't fathom why somebody would want to do that.
Again, if you know anything, you should contact the police. Watered Gardens in Joplin digs into its annual Empty Bowls event. The event, held at the Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop, serves as a way to care for and feed the hungry in the community. From now through Saturday, patrons can pre-order a pottery bowl handcrafted by local artists. Buyers will later enjoy a cup of soup and get to take those bowls home. The money raised goes to help fund efforts to feed the community.
What's new this year? We've got a new venue on our event day, Soup Day, Thursday, November 14th at Suzanne's Natural Foods. And we've also added 3 new pottery studios from Southeast Kansas that have made bowls and donated them to the event.
This is the 12th year for that annual event. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for our first look at the weather.
All right, so we still got some partly cloudy skies, just fair weather clouds out there. 7th and Rangeline looking pretty good. Temperatures are still in the low 90s, mid 80s. 86 out in Joplin, 88 in Pittsburgh, 94 still in Independence, 93 in Neodesha, but cooler out in the southeast. 76 in Cassville, 79 in Monette. Not so bad out there, but the rest of us are going to continue to warm up over the next couple of days. Now, we've had some clouds in the area, but we stayed dry and we continue to stay dry through most of the week. Temperatures are going to be above average even for our overnight lows, only dropping down to about 70 by midnight and in the mid 60s for our overnight lows. But we do have rain chances in the forecast later on this week and weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
See you soon. The U.S. Secret Service says former President Trump has the highest level of protection they can offer. The statement comes the day after an apparent assassination attempt on his life. The suspect now faces gun charges, accused of pointing a gun at Trump yesterday while the Republican presidential nominee was golfing. Reporter Manuel Bajorquez has the latest from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Police body camera video shows the moment Florida deputies arrested Ryan Wesley Ruth about 50 miles north of former President Donald Trump's West Palm Beach Golf Club on Sunday.
He never so much as asked what's going on. He just sat there really like he was going to a picnic.
Monday, the 58-year-old appeared in federal court as the FBI investigates the apparent assassination attempt on Trump. For now, Ruth's charged with possession of a firearm as a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Additional charges are possible. In court, Ruth calmly answered the judge's questions and appeared relaxed to the point of smiling in a conversation he had with the court-appointed public defender. Prosecutors believe Ruth was targeting Trump as the former president was playing golf about 300 to 500 yards away. A Secret Service agent spotted the gun muzzle peeking through the perimeter tree line and fired at it. According to court documents, Ruth fled, leaving behind an AK-47 style rifle, a scope, a digital camera, 2 bags, and a plastic bag with food. Phone records put him in the wooded area for nearly 12 hours.
The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent.
But the Secret Service is under new scrutiny, especially after the July attempt on Trump's life.
There is no place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero.
The head of the Secret Service went to Mar-a-Lago to brief former President Trump. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
The suspect is scheduled to be back in court next Monday. Trump is scheduled to hold his next campaign event in Michigan tomorrow. Wednesday, he's going to be in Long Island, New York, and officials there have announced new security measures. Inflammatory rhetoric on the campaign trail has led to more threats of violence in Springfield, Ohio. The city has seen multiple bomb threats against City Hall and local officials after some false claims from former President Trump and his running mate about immigrants eating pets. They deny stoking racial hatred for political gain. Tito Jackson, an original member of the iconic group the Jackson 5, has died at the age of 70. He sang harmonies and played guitar for the group. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997. Tito was the third of 10 Jackson children, 5 years older than his brother Michael. A former manager told Entertainment Tonight he apparently died from a heart attack. Still ahead, researchers develop a unique robotic leg that uses artificial muscles, and the investigation into how a person in Missouri contracted bird flu. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, the CDC is investigating how a person in Missouri caught bird flu, but they say the risk to the public remains low. The patient, who has recovered, claims they had no contact with animals and did not drink raw milk. Health officials believe it might be a rare instance of a one-off, standalone illness. Most robots are powered by batteries, but researchers are taking inspiration from people and animals to build the world's first robotic leg that moves with artificial muscles. Reporter Tina Kraus has that story.
Robot engineers strive for their creations to mimic human movements. And scientists say they're a step closer to hitting the mortal mark with this new contraption. A robotic leg that runs not on electronic motors, but artificial muscles. Researchers in Switzerland are using plastic bags filled with oil and covered by black conductive electrodes on the sides. When an electric charge is applied, electrodes attract each other because of static electricity, pushing the oil to one side and shortening the bag, simulating muscle movements.
Antagonistic, just like our biceps and triceps, they work against each other. If the biceps contracts, the triceps stretches, and the other way around, the biceps stretches when the triceps contracts.
Experts say artificial muscles are more energy efficient than robots that depend on motors, and the technology allows bots to jump high and move quickly without the need for complex sensors.
This naturally leads to new inventions in terms of anthropomorphic hands that can be operated in dangerous tasks.
Researchers envision a future where rescue robots equipped with electrohydraulic muscles are deployed to quake zones and other disaster sites to maneuver tough terrain. For now, with testing still in its early stages, they're proud to have a leg up in the race to revamp robotics. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Investment bank Goldman Sachs projects the global market for humanoid robots will reach $38 billion by 2035. A new study says psilocybin, the active ingredient in magic mushrooms, could help millions of people with depression. Researchers published an article in Psychedelics that found that if the FDA approves the treatment, more than half of Americans currently being treated for depression could qualify for psilocybin therapy. The researchers say we're still learning about the best ways to use that treatment. And a lot of employees feel pressured to work while sick. A study by the University of South Florida found that many organizations have a culture where it's expected you'll come into the office even when you're not feeling well. The study found working while sick leads to lost productivity, mistreatment of coworkers, and can even push employees to leave the company. Lindsay's forecast is next, and a little bit later, the prospects for an interest rate hike this week.
Overall, today was a pretty good day. We had some nice fair weather clouds out there. Now we can go ahead and take a look outside. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. It was a partly cloudy day, but temperatures were starting to warm up. We got into the mid to upper 80s and even low 90s in some areas, so definitely above average. Normally we're seeing temperatures in the lower 80s and even upper 70s, but we see a warming trend over this week. We've got a ridge building in the area, which we'll talk about coming up, but for the most part, mostly got clouds moving in today. You can start to see them shift in. Now, we don't have any rain chances for most of the week, but we're starting to see them pop up later. But until then, it's just going to be hot and even humid. So dew points are getting up to 66, 67, 68. So we're in that sticky to even muggy range out there. It's definitely getting warmer, higher humidity, not so great for most of the week, but we do have a little break with wind gusts breezing from the east, 20 miles per hour out in Pittsburgh, 28 in Sedan, 29 in Yates Center. So winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour through the rest of the evening. And then they pick back up tomorrow as well. So temperatures are going to continue to increase, but with a nice easterly, southeasterly breeze, it's going to feel maybe a little bit better. Now, humidity stays pretty high though for most of the week, and we even have overnight low temperatures are going to be above average as well. So tonight getting down to mid 60s and even upper 60s in some areas, a few clouds, but above average. Morning, we also have some fog to deal with. We haven't dealt with fog in quite some time, but visibility could be very low starting as early as 6 a.m. So for your morning commute on Tuesday, about half a mile visibility in Aurora and Cassville, about 4 miles visibility in Carl Junction. Not so bad. Independence, about a mile, maybe a mile and a half. It clears out pretty early though, so by about 9 a.m. we're going to be mostly clear, back to normal. Not so bad, but towards the end of the week, after we deal with all the hot temperatures, all the humidity, we're going to get a few showers. It's a pretty chaotic upper level pattern going on right now. So we've got a ridge building in Texas and Oklahoma and even in Arkansas, but then we have two low pressure systems building in the northeast and then another low pressure system right on the east coast. So because of that, we've got a lot of interaction with all of these low pressure and high pressures. Through most of the week, the high pressure builds and we get that warmer air in our area, a southerly breeze and higher humidity. But because we have two low pressure systems just north of us, we're also going to get a few showers in the midst of that high pressure. So this is Thursday evening around 8:30. We've got a nice rain shower stemming from one of the low pressure systems now in Canada, and not a lot of rainfall accumulation, but still going to get some of those showers. That continues through Friday as well. And then as that secondary low pressure system starts to shift into central U.S., we're going to get some actual storms moving into the weekend. Now, rainfall accumulation, not going to be a lot. We're only seeing maybe up to an inch in some areas by the end of the weekend. But overall, we definitely need the rain, any rain that we can get. Temperatures drop after all of the rain showers as well next weekend and week.
I hope we'll get some of that rain. We certainly desperately need it. Hey, if you're ever on the go and you want to still be able to watch our newscast live, you know you can. Anytime, anywhere. Just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available absolutely free of charge in the app store of your choice. Just search for KOAM Plus. Might as well do it right now. Coming up, we're going to look at the fluctuating costs of housing. Topping today's Consumer Watch, economic experts predict that the Federal Reserve is likely to lower interest rates for the first time in 4 years during the Fed's meeting on Wednesday. Fed has been hinting at possible cuts as inflation drops and the job market cools. Traders hope for a bigger than usual slash in rates. We'll find out on Wednesday. Whether you rent or are trying to buy a home, it's a difficult time right now. Senior business and tech correspondent Jolene Kent looks at the reasons why.
For Erica Duvall in Pennsylvania's Susquehanna Township, each time her rent goes up, it hits hard.
It's hard to budget when everything is constantly changing.
Overall, Americans have seen their rent jump 26% since 2020.
The market's been absolutely nuts.
For prospective homebuyers like the Enov family, prices have been prohibitively high, up 29% since early 2020.
We were waiting for prices to come down or interest rates to come down, and we made the decision it's time to buy, even if it's at an inflated cost.
In some areas, homebuyers are facing shrinkflation. That's where you pay the same or more money for less space. In fact, the median American home size is now 126 square feet smaller than it was 5 years ago, yet it costs nearly $124,000 more. The fundamental problem, not enough homes to go around.
We built fewer homes in the 2010s than in any decade going all the way back to the 1960s. And because we built so few homes, we really didn't build for the new families that would be forming. That is why we have this 4 million plus unit housing shortage.
What are some of the bright spots here?
Well, the good news is that mortgage rates are coming down. We're anticipating that there will be more new listings, and we're actually starting to head in the right direction.
But Erica Duvall doesn't feel that just yet.
Do you feel like buying a home is within reach?
No, definitely not. And I'm definitely nervous to make any sort of commitment in this economy.
On Wednesday, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce an interest rate cut. A lot of interest in that. And though the benchmark interest rates and mortgage rates are not directly linked, mortgage rates are likely to continue that downward trend. They've been in the 6% range for the past couple months, down from the 8% highs last fall. Jolene Kent, CBS News, New York.
All this week, CBS News is going to have more on the housing costs. Walgreens says it's going to pay $106 million to settle lawsuits in Texas, New Mexico, and Florida that claimed the drug retailer submitted false payment claims with government programs for prescriptions that were never filled. The company says it's corrected the error and has refunded all overpayments. And Tim Burton's sequel Beetlejuice had another big weekend at the box office, selling $51.6 million in tickets, down only about 54% compared to its opening weekend. Not bad for a second weekend. The horror film Speak No Evil nabbed the second spot with just over $11 million, followed by Disney and Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine, which raked in $5.2 million. Final check of the forecast, but first, a record-breaking day on Wall Street. Up next on the CBS Evening News, new details about the suspect in the apparent assassination attempt of Donald Trump. Then on KOAM News at 6, a child abuse arrest in southwest Missouri after a 9-month-old boy was taken to the hospital unconscious. Plus, Mercy Park in Joplin celebrates a new addition to the Rotary Sculpture Garden today with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. And a community gives some young voices a chance to experience voting, or at least practice at it. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hey, take a look at this. An amateur gardener has broken the Russian national record for the largest pumpkin. It weighs in at 1,801 pounds, about the average weight of a bull. Pumpkin gained as much as 44 pounds per day, beat the old record by more than 100 pounds. The competition was part of Russia's annual Autumn Fest. The gardener says the secret is to warm the soil and the air, cover the plant, and protect it from frost. No frost in the forecast. Let's check in with Lindsay.
Well, temperatures are going to continue to increase tomorrow, getting into the low 90s, upper 80s again. Wednesday, 91, Thursday and Friday, 93. Now, we're getting those isolated showers and isolated thunderstorms Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, continuing through most of the week. It's a very chaotic upper level flow, so we're getting low chances nearly every day starting this weekend through next week.
Lindsay, thanks, and thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.